You know why you're here. It's for Totally Unbiased, but not for Totally Unbiased. You're here for the fantasy side. If you catch us on our live streams, you know we talk fantasy all day, every day. So now we got you once again with our regular Tuesday show of the fantasy side. Joining me, as always, is Andrew and Aiden. How are we doing today, guys?
What up?
Pretty good.
Andrew, hit
And
him.
as usual, our social medias on TikTok and Instagram, you can follow us at Totally Unbiased, on Twitter at YT_unbiased, and right here on YouTube where you're watching this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a new video.
All right, so today we're going to talk about a couple things that are bothering us, and a couple things that we liked from this past fantasy weekend. First of all, we saw a lot of quarterbacks. I'm going to start premises. We saw a lot of quarterbacks struggle this weekend. It was a weird week for quarterbacks. It really was. Carson Wentz putting up like 5 points, 6 points. I mean, Justin Herbert putting up 12, and then you had Mahomes put up 37. I mean, weird week. A lot of low-scoring quarterbacks outside of Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott. So let's kind of get into it. And we're going to talk about, first of all, we're done with some players. Like, we all got players. We're just done. I'm done starting these guys. They stink. All right? So, Andrew, hit us with the first guy and tell us why you're done starting him.
First guy is Tyler Lockett, and we've already known something about him for years. He's inconsistent. That hasn't been a surprise. For the last couple of years, this man either puts up a 40-point game where I get to beat Nick in fantasy, or he puts up 2 points because he's just invisible on the field and Russell Wilson doesn't see him for the entire game. And just to go in depth a little bit, if you look at his receptions, besides one game where he has 12, he doesn't have more than 8 receptions in a game, and he only has one game with 8, and the rest are 4 and below. I mean, it really is. Tyler Lockett is put in a good position. He has to do it himself. It's not like he's getting wide open and he's getting every single time he's getting a 50-yard bomb and he's catching it and running into the end zone. He's got to do something after the catch spectacular, and he's just not consistent with that. It's not even feasible to ask someone to be doing that, to constantly be making big plays. He just doesn't have a consistent amount of volume, and he's also not a touchdown machine either. He had 2 touchdowns week 1, and everyone's like, oh my God, Tyler Lockett. He had 1 the next week, and he hasn't had a touchdown since. I mean, it's really just... he's inconsistent. And I mean, just to put up some of the numbers, his highest was week 2 with 31.8 points. But then he also has weeks of a low with 2 receptions for 12 yards against New Orleans for 3.2. I mean, it's just someone I could definitely find someone else to either start or even have on my bench as a backup.
Yeah, give me Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is 10 times better than Tyler Lockett. Give me any of those other guys, and especially because of the poor play of Russell Wilson. And I'm a stickler on Russell Wilson right now. He's played poorly. I know it was 1 game back. I'm not overreacting to that game. The 4 games he played earlier in the year, I know he didn't throw any picks, but he's playing like he was scared. He's playing like he didn't want to turn the ball over. He didn't want to go for big plays. That's the Seahawks offense. That's what they do, and he's doing a really bad job at it. So I'm out on Russell Wilson. I'm out on everybody in the Seahawks offense unless their name is DK Metcalf. I'm done with Tyler Lockett as well.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett, of course, he's just been wildly inconsistent, but this is something we expect. This is something we've seen from Tyler Lockett for years now. From a game-to-game basis, it's not guaranteed that he's going to get a startable amount of targets for fantasy, and that puts you in jeopardy as a fantasy owner. I continue to be down on Tyler Lockett every week, but with Russell Wilson continuing to play worse and this team trending downwards, there aren't many, positive things to say about Lockett right now. So sell Lockett if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Sell Lockett. Let's not forget, he's just not getting open too, which is a huge issue. It's not like he's just not getting targets. He's dropping passes and he's not getting open. I got to talk AJ Brown. You drafted this guy 3rd round, 2nd round, 3rd round. He's so bad. He's so bad. Like, AJ Brown is an issue. He is. And especially without the threat of Derrick Henry back there, he's even bigger of an issue because they know he's the guy. Now, Julio's on IR. This is 3 points this week. 3 points against a team without a quarterback in the Saints. And I know they have Marshawn Lattimore, and I know the whole line. 3 points? It's unacceptable from AJ Brown. Unacceptable. And, I mean, hats off to the Titans. They continue to win. But it's been rough for AJ Brown. He's had 2 really good games a couple weeks ago in a row, and the rest of the season he's done zero, zip, nada, zip, nothing.
Yeah, no, I definitely think something that AJ Brown definitely needed, especially once Derrick Henry was ruled out for a couple weeks with his foot injury. He needed Julio Jones to be on the other side of the field and healthy to draw some attention away from him. So for AJ Brown, they're looking at him. He's their guy that Tennessee wants to go to all the time. They don't have to worry about another great receiver. They don't have to worry about a run game. So I mean, it really kind of puts AJ Brown in a tight spot, and unless something drastic changes, he definitely just I don't see him putting anything up because he's going to be very locked down because teams don't have to worry about much else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to bounce off your point, he's definitely going to be, the main focus of any defense he's facing on a week-to-week basis at this point. So, that's something major to consider as a fantasy owner. And aside from that, he just hasn't been consistent. Last year, he was playing with, I think it was a leg injury for the entire season, and he put up a better year than he's playing right now as a healthy player. So, there's a lot of question marks surrounding AJ Brown. We really don't know what we're going to see out of him every week. He's honestly creeping into that Tyler Lockett territory where you don't know if he's going to put up 20 plus or 5. So, AJ Brown, not a lot of good things to say about him.
Yeah, not a lot to say about AJ Brown, and there's a Chargers receiver, Aiden, that you've had it up to here with. Tell us about him.
Yeah, somebody you actually call the oversized Tyler Lockett, Mike freaking Williams. He has been a major problem. This guy put up 30 plus. I think it was 3 out of the first 4 weeks of the fantasy season. Everybody's suddenly calling him a league winner. Oh, this guy's a league winner. Go get him. Go get him. Big mistake. Huge mistake. They don't even involve him in the offense anymore. Keenan Allen has become the sole wide receiver one of this team. And Mike Williams, he really only gets short range targets at this point. He got 1 deep bomb in week 9, and that was it. So, it's not even really like he's coming off an injury or like, you got to give him some time to be 100% healthy. He's had time, and they obviously don't like what they're seeing out of him because he's just not getting included. So if you can still trick somebody into thinking that Mike Williams has any value right now, do it. Trade him away.
Yeah, Andrew, you go, and then I got something to say about Mike Williams.
Yeah, so with Mike Williams, I mean, it is exactly that point. They're scheming him out, and Keenan Allen is their number one guy. And honestly, the way that they've schemed Mike Williams out so much, even though he had production, it really makes me think that Keenan Allen had an issue with this guy. He doesn't like that the thunder was being stolen away from him. So my little idea that I'm going to throw out there, my prediction is Keenan Allen might have been a little bit of a diva and kind of complained that he wasn't having all the superstar looks because he was in the past their guy and that's it. And maybe the Chargers for some reason ended up listening to him, but if they keep losing the way they are, they should probably just get Mike Williams back in there.
Yeah, they were playing a lot better with Mike Williams. That's an interesting idea, Andrew. I don't know. Huh? It's a very interesting one. But I got to give you some statistics, and this is just, this is ridiculous, right? So I got the Chargers up next to me, right? So first off, I'm going to go weeks 1 through 6. Targets, okay? We're just going to go targets. Keenan Allen, 57. Mike Williams, 56. Right? Targets, weeks 8 through 10, because of the bye week 7. Keenan Allen, 35. Mike Williams, 16. It's not even close now. They were equals then. It's not even close now. But to put into huge perspective, right? Week 1 through 6, the Chargers went 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1. They were 4-1 through the first 5 weeks. For the first 5 weeks, 4-1. And honestly, if they wanted to shift these statistics, they could to the Baltimore game where Mike Williams only had like 2 catches for 30 yards, right? And you go after that, right? You look. They lost to Baltimore, they lost to the Patriots, and now they lost to the Vikings. When they target Mike Williams and give them an equal share, like 57-56, they win. They're losing now because they don't spread the ball around. And I am firm on that opinion. I think they need to spread the ball more around, get Mike Williams more involved because Keenan Allen is the short intermediate guy. I don't see these deep shots anymore. Where have they gone? Where have they gone? I don't know. But let's talk about some guys who earned a spot in your lineup. These are some guys who they deserve it. Jayla Waddle. Jaylen Waddle shown he has a really good floor. He is one of 3 rookies we're going to talk about right now, and he's shown he's got a really good floor. And the matter of fact is, when Tua plays, Tua loves him. Simply, Tua loves to throw the ball to Jaylen Waddle. They have a pre-existing connection, chemistry from Alabama. They do. They have it. So the fact is, when Tua feels like he's a little pressured, he's not going to turn to Gesicki. Parker's already out. Will Fuller never played. He's not going to throw it to the run. He trusts Jaylen Waddle, and that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Aiden, give me your thoughts on Waddle.
Yeah, Jaylen Waddle, he came into possibly one of the best situations he could ask for in the NFL. Reuniting with his former QB to they've just had this great chemistry all year. And it just seems to grow every season. Obviously, or every season, every week it seems to grow. And Waddle, it's not like it's just the chemistry that is the reason for his success. He is a great, great player. Great deep threat as well. He's one of the fastest guy, one of the fastest route runners in the NFL. So, everything's working in his favor right now. Now, at this point, it's really just about if that offense can become more consistent, because Waddle is doing everything that he can, and he's putting up a pretty decent floor for fantasy. So, if you can trade low on Jaylen Waddle, go and do it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I wanted to just bring this up. I think that the connection between him and Tua, obviously they had it from college, they're bringing it to the NFL, and I think it's going to continue to get stronger as they play together. As long as they both stay healthy, they stay on the field, and they play some good games, I definitely think that the potential for Jaylen Waddle to be elevated as a receiver is there, because they play the Jets, the Giants, the Jets again, New Orleans, Tennessee, New England. I mean, some of those are tough games, but then the Jets twice, the Giants is 50-50, depends on how they feel. And Carolina, I mean, they possibly could play a good game against them. So we've got to see how Cam Newton, if he ends up dominating them and makes the Dolphins offense irrelevant. But I just really think that not that the sky's the limit, but he's definitely still got room to grow. And from what I've seen already, yeah, he definitely is someone who you could easily start at your flex spot.
Absolutely. And another guy who now is a flex play. Aiden's a big fan. He's an Alabama stan. Aiden, tell us about this guy. Another rookie, receiver.
My favorite Alabama receiver actually coming out of this draft, Devonte Smith. He kind of had a slower start to the season. Possibly due to the offense, possibly due to the quarterback. Jalen Hurts isn't the most accurate QB, but recently he's gotten it going. The last 2 weeks, he's scored over 22 points. It's a similar thing with Tua and Waddle. Jalen Hurts and Devonte played together as well. There's that connection that's really starting to turn into a threat for whoever they face. And Devonte Smith, the skill is undeniable, the talent's undeniable. It was just about when he started to be included as the wide receiver one in this offense, and now we're starting to see that, which is very big for him in a fantasy perspective. So go and get Devonte Smith.
Yeah, I like Devonta Smith. He's had a decent floor all season. And look, his outlook's pretty good right now. So I would roll with it. I would stick with it. Really not much else to say.
Yeah, and real quick, I'm going to just bring this quick point up, and then I want to go over the next guy. The games where the Eagles are a heavily rush-oriented offense is where he does bad. Like the week they blew out Detroit. 1 reception for 15 yards. I mean, when running the ball is working, it's working. They're obviously not going to steer away from it. So I believe some of these games where he didn't even put up great numbers really weren't due to his fault. There's nothing he could do in specifically that game, and there was another one that I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's put up 19, 14, 22 back-to-back weeks. I mean, he definitely is good, and it's just another connection between a quarterback and a receiver that I think is going to grow, and I definitely see down the stretch and continuing into next year, if you end up getting this guy again, he's definitely a guy who I think is a flex spot now, but by next season, I'm going to put him at a wide receiver 2 status. And then the last guy we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about Michael Carter. So Devonta Smith and Jaylen Waddle on my fantasy team. Michael Carter also on my fantasy team. So very happy that all these guys are liked enough because it makes me have hope for my crap team. But Michael Carter, he definitely is somebody who has started off slow, but he's taken this role and he has receiving upside, which I really didn't expect from him. I mean, out of his last 4 games, he's had 67 yards, 95 yards, 37 yards, and 45 yards receiving in each game. And that receiving upside is the best thing you could see in a running back, especially a young running back that has room to grow and potential, especially with that Jets team. There's a lot that could get better with that team. If they had a better quarterback, they wouldn't be so worried about the run. If they had a better line, he might be doing even better. So it's a guy who has the upside is the world for this kid right now. And he doesn't play bad. He just looks good. I'm definitely a guy I'm so happy that I ended up getting. And I just think the sky's the limit for the kid. I've been saying it since the beginning.
Yeah, I think Michael Carter's pretty good. He's a good receiving back. Problem is when Zach Wilson comes back, he thinks he's Russell Wilson. So he's going to try to run around and improvise and throw the deep ball. He doesn't throw the check down nearly as much, and I think that's why we saw an uptick in Michael Carter when Zach Wilson went down. However, I still believe Michael Carter has fantasy value, and I think the Jets trust him now. So yeah, start Michael Carter. He earned that spot. If you're benching him, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, Michael Carter has great receiving upside. This O line really can't play consistently well. So as a result of that, they seem to be dumping it off to Carter very frequently. Great for fantasy. So I do agree when Zach Wilson comes back, he seems to dance around, run all around the backfield. I don't think that Michael Carter's value is going to stay at this level. But for right now, he like Nick said, he's absolutely earned his starting position. He is a great receiving asset.
Yeah, so that really concludes pretty much the majority of our video. But the Chiefs are back, and you see it in the title of this video. Fan side week 10, while we're done with Mike Williams and what. But the Chiefs are back, and why did I put that? Because anybody you start the Chiefs offense is worth it again. Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. You're always starting him. You're always starting Kelsey. But now the running backs, and I see how Mahomes is being able to use the running backs, and I have high hopes for Elaire, Clyde Edwards-Elaire when he comes back, because it seems like they decided they wanted to check down the ball more, run the ball a little more. I like it. And there's a lot of options in this Chiefs offense that you can go and you can get. Kelsey's the one, and we're about to go into Kelsey at the end of this. But Kelsey's the one guy who is the catalyst of this team. If he's getting fed, teams have to respect him. And once they respect him, there goes Tyreek Hill. And then you saw that last night against the Raiders, or 2 nights ago against the Raiders. But now we're in the triple box because I'm gonna tell you guys over here why Travis Kelsey is so much further ahead of any tight end in fantasy, and it's not going to be close. It's not close now. It was never close, and it won't be close anytime soon. So the first of all, obviously, talent-wise, he's Travis Kelsey. He's very good. But number one is quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is, obviously he's had a tough year, but he's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's been for a while now. That's simply said. The second part is the inconsistency of the tight end position. Let's look at a couple guys. Mark Andrews having a really good year, but he's very up and down, boom or bust. That's Mark Andrews. Darren Waller's had a really down year. I'm not concerned about him. I don't like his usage, how they're using him. I think Greg Olson, their offensive coordinator, needs to do a better job of getting him the ball and getting him the ball in space. I think he doesn't line him up enough outside, and I think that's a problem. And those are the two only guys that can compete because George Kittle's never healthy. So Travis Kelsey is so valuable. And I wonder where he falls in drafts next year, especially because he was picked early this year, but he might not have lived up to that stock. Or has he, considering all the injuries at the top of the draft? It's tough, but I think Kelsey being there every week, he's always healthy. That's number one. And number two, Travis Kelsey is in the most electric offense in the NFL. So again, remember where he is and remember his talent level along with the way things go with the Chiefs normally. They scheme him in, and when he's the focal point outside of Tyreek Hill, and when one's working, the other's working. That's when you saw when Tyreek Hill was catching a lot of short, there was no Kelsey, and when Kelsey was catching a lot of deep, there was no Hill deep. So it works really well in unison with the Chiefs when they have Hill going deep and Kelsey staying medium because it forces teams to be honest, which is what we saw with the Raiders last night.
Yeah, it's really just incredible what the Chiefs have been able to do lately with Kelsey. He got shut down against the Giants, and since then he's really just unlocked himself. And like you said, as a result of that, it's unlocked the Chiefs' offense. And I really think that they're going to start to compete and sitting at the top of their division again. They're going to be one of the better teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You guys really touched on, well, Nick almost touched on all the points. I mean, this offense is electric. They are a big play team. They're consistently week after week, besides this little inconsistency we've seen over the last like 2-3 weeks before they played Vegas. They score a lot of points. They make big plays. Travis Kelsey is a big part of that, and there's no doubt about it. And I think realistically, yeah, it's just as simple as that. He is when he is in the game and the game is just schemed right, it just opens up the entire playbook as a whole for everybody because he's just such a threat. There has to be so much attention from a defense drawn to him but then it opens up somewhere else. You got Hilaire over there, you got Hill over there. I mean, whatever it, or even Mahomes. I mean, we've seen him run the football before. He can do it.
Yeah, hey, absolutely. And I think we're all glad that fantasy football is around, although it's very stressful and it hurts my head all the time. But remember, guys, if you want to catch us on live streams. All of our live streams now will be dual on YouTube. So if you want to guarantee your question to be answered, go to YouTube. We will set your lineup. We'll analyze trades, everything. So when you go to the YouTube and you go to our YouTube live, we will do everything. Otherwise, catch us again. Andrew has us on TikTok. So if you follow us on TikTok, it'll let you know when we're live. And it also lets you know once you hit that sub button. I think it's like right over there under Aiden. Once you hit that sub button,
No,
you'll
it
know
should
when we're
be
going live.
no, it should be well, you can't see my finger, but like wait.
It's
that
not.
way.
It's middle. It's on.
That
It's on the.
way.
It's on the right. It's on the right. But either way, doesn't matter. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you next time. This has been another episode of the Fan.